It's the Human First AI Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Montague. My guest this week is Jaime Jay, founder of Bottleneck Digital Assistants. You can find them at bottleneck.online. There's also some really cool tools that Jaime has put together. The Delegation IQ Blueprint, we're going to talk more about. If you go to the website, you can find the link for that special offer. But Jaime, before we get too far into it, I got to ask you about this world of delegation for small business, because I think it's getting all mixed up now of, do we hire a full-time person? Do we outsource a virtual assistant anywhere in the world? Do we delegate to AI and have AI agents running our business? Is the answer all of the above for different reasons? Where are you at with digital work these days?
Yeah, and thank you again, Mike, for having me. I'm super stoked to be here. I was really excited about coming on today and chatting with you. I think it's the latter. I think it's all of the above, and it depends on what your certain caseload is or scenario or whatever it may be. However, I strongly believe, and yes, I am biased, but I created this company because this is the way I felt. Like I was the bottleneck, and my friend told me that, and I said, that's a dang good name for a company, Bottleneck Distant Assistants. And so I firmly believe every single organization needs to have a delegation department. Right now, a lot of people are experiencing turnover. If you could go, and there's all kinds of different stats out there. One I saw the other day was on average, and this goes for in-person or remote, the average rate of turnover is 38%. Turnover is not cheap, right? Because you train somebody, and to replace them. And so just to bring somebody on average in the US is just under $7,000 for most companies. Yeah. That's the average.
I would say that's probably low for most.
Yeah. To fire somebody could cost up to 9 months' salary. This is not something you want to mess around with, but so many people in this world don't understand what delegation is. And many people will make the argument that the number one reason somebody leaves a position is because they didn't like their manager or they didn't like their boss, right? Which I can understand, but I think it's deeper than that. I think the number one reason why people leave is because they don't understand what they're supposed to be doing, and that causes frustration, and they blame that on whoever the direct report is. And so that's why we need, I believe, a delegation department, because what we've done is we've turned the whole industry upside down. Most people say, well, that's what the HR department is for. No, that isn't what the HR department is for. What HR department teaches delegation?
Yeah, none. And I love what you're saying here, because I've been a fan of this for a long time. My background, I was a sales and leadership trainer for the last 15 years. And one of the things I always said really is your job as a manager, or especially as the owner and leader of the company, is to make yourself irrelevant. Your company becomes more powerful, more profitable, and more sustainable the less you do to be the linchpin in your organization. It frees you up for higher level tasks. And then if you can start figuring out somebody else to do the higher level tasks, then you get to keep going up this ladder. And I think AI has brought some tremendous opportunities. What I saw when I started Avenue 9 was my old job at that company was doing content marketing and internet marketing. And if I could do it in a tenth of the time with AI tools, I thought, well, I could do the same quality work for 10 companies, and I could just start Avenue 9. So that's the 9. I can do 9 other people plus my own. And now I've hired a distance assistant as well, because I found there's still, AI is not there. There's still some tasks that require human intervention, reviews, and other things. So I'd love to hear how you think more about delegation, because I think that's the whole job these days, is I've gotten into a lot of time management and efficiency stuff. I've read, essentialism and minimalism and all of the get shit done books,
E-Myth, all that
stuff, right? Yeah, E-Myth by Michael Gerber. It was one of my dad's favorite books. And there's stuff that you can delete. There's stuff that you can delay, and there's certainly stuff that you can delegate. I'm fascinated by this discussion of how things are changing, that especially with AI, the jobs that are hazardous, like, hazardous chemical mining or bomb disposal, that we should definitely delegate to AI and robots. We don't want humans doing the job, right?
Right.
Other things like taking your wife out to an anniversary dinner, maybe we don't delegate that to
That would probably not be a good idea, because you
AI
probably
robot,
wouldn't be
right?
married much longer after that.
So then in between, there's this whole spectrum of stuff that we need to make decisions about. And that's what you have this expertise in. When you think about your delegation IQ and the intelligence you've been developing, how do we decide?
Yeah. So we came up with a category. We designed a new category called delegation intelligence. And this is exactly why we did it. So by the way, great segue, a great lead into this, because delegation intelligence is a framework that you can deploy that will do three things. It will clear your head of all your craziness, basically.
Yeah.
It will get the things that you envision done. We all, as visionaries, have a list of things that we go, man, that'd be so cool if we did that, but it never gets done. So think of the distant assistant as the implementer against your vision.
Mm.
And the third thing is it unclouds your stress. If you've ever done a brain dump where you wrote this down, like you had all these ideas, have you ever done anything like that? How
Yeah.
did you feel after you were done with that?
I love it. I do it all the time, even with my AI assistant. I'll just say, hey, keep ChatGPT. I've set up a special kind of custom GPT I call Jenny for generative AI. And she's my co-founder, my digital co-founder. And I'll just say, hey, Jenny, here's the 85 things I need to do today. Help me get this organized.
How do you feel after you did that?
Amazing.
Yeah.
And it really, really helps.
You are in the 99th, or I would say in the 1% category, because most people don't do that. They don't take the time to do it. And they don't realize probably what you realized is there's so many things going on in our brains. And if we don't release that and get it out, we lose a lot of creativity, right? And we lose a lot of motivation, and we get stressed, we get overwhelmed, we get burned out. That happens all the time. And if you can find a way to get rid of all of that stuff that's clogging up your brain, all of a sudden something switches and now you're moving. You ever have those good days where you're like, man, I feel good.
Yeah.
Man,
Well,
today's
it's creativity and stuff too. Your body can't be creative under stress. I wrote about it in my book, Playful Humans.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a survival mode, right? If you're in survival mode for your business or any other reason, your brain goes to, what's the one way that will allow me to get out of this situation? It doesn't think, what are the 87 most profitable ways for me to get out of this situation? It doesn't have time to be creative. It locks in, and then people defend their positions. They get picky. They're cranky about people that disagree with their vision, all the other stuff that you got to get the stress out of there first. I love that. The other thing I've noticed with this is that I would probably say the number two mistake people make then behind that is they try to create a copy of themselves, whether it's with a virtual assistant or a AI assistant. They'll say, I want a mini me. Sometimes I think people think this with their children too. They're like, you know what? Like, I don't have a best friend. I want this kid to be just like me, look like me, play my sports, talk like me, watch like my TV shows. And that's not how humans work. And it's not really how AI works either with employees, because then you have two people that don't want to do what you don't want to do. And you have somebody stealing your thunder on the magic that you do bring to your business. Can you talk a little bit about what's successful in what you delegate, as far as like, it's the things you don't want to do and the things that you don't have time to do, right? Not the stuff that you're doing.
Exactly. Yeah, I can definitely do that. This is my wheelhouse. So there's a thing called the delegation roadmap, and I learned about this first from Scott Beebe, an amazing human being who has accompanied my business on purpose. And the guy has just figured out how to communicate. And basically what it does is you just jot down everything that you do pretty much that's repetitive, and you assign 2 values to it. Number 1, is it something I must do, or can I delegate this to somebody else who can do it 70% as good as I can or better? The second is it give me energy, or does it drain me of energy? And now all of a sudden, what you do is you create a subset task list of everything that drains you of energy and everything that you could delegate to somebody else. Those are all things. Imagine this. Do something as if it's the last time you're ever going to do it. Think about that for a second, right? Let that sink in. For all those things that you're doing in your business right now, that you're like, and you know what I'm talking about, probably, Mike. It's like, man, I got to do the payroll, or I got to do the bookkeeping, or I just don't want to do that, but I'm going to knock it out. And the reason why we do that, hopefully, is because 80% of the time we really love what we're doing, right? Like, I'm going to reward myself by going and talking to Mike, right? Like I got through my work this morning. I get to go be on a podcast. Like, yeah, this is awesome, right? Well, now all of a sudden you have that subset task list, and that task list is going to list out everything that you don't want to do again. But if you do something one more time, as if it's the last time you're ever going to do it, that means you're actually going to do that task, but you're going to document what it is that you do during that task in preparation for eventually bringing somebody else on, whether it's AI, human, whatever. But that way you start building up a library of delegation. And that's how you start building your delegation department. If you want to fast track that, hire a Bottleneck Distant Assistant, and they come and build all that for you, right?
Well, I love where you're going there. So I want to jump in. I have like 3 thoughts came to mind there. One, we didn't shout out your book, which is Stop Repeating Yourself, which is an amazing title, and they can learn more about that process as well. Number 2 was I love what you said about kind of what the magic is and what you get paid for in your business, because I've been an entertainer and speaker and stuff, and a lot of times
you were an entertainer.
I don't understand why would we pay.
What did you do in the entertainer?
I was a karaoke DJ host, game show host, all kinds of things over the years. I got to open for Billy Idol and Frankie Valli, and
no way,
in Kansas City, and be on the radio and stuff. But you know, people would say, like, when I'm doing a wedding, like, oh, that's a lot of money to DJ a wedding. And you go, well, you're not paying me to DJ the wedding. I love that part. I would do that for free. You're paying me to deal with the bride for the 2 months leading up to the wedding. That's the part that you're paying me for. Yeah, I'll show, you know, and that happens a lot if you're in public speaking and stuff. It's like, you're not paying me to give the hour-long keynote. You're paying me to deal with your company and then customize this speech that I've already given and then fly to Canada in the middle of winter. That's what you're paying me for. And yes, in our business, if we can eliminate as many of those as possible, that's great. But thought number 3 you triggered in me was what I found, I think, with Avenue 9, especially with my marketing expertise, is kind of this idea of fractional employees or hiring experts, that I think this has changed. It used to be like hiring a virtual assistant was, let me get the lowest common denominator, a little bit above a free intern, and somebody that will just be able to do basic secretarial functions for me. But now you can hire a high-powered CMO. You can hire a delegation specialist. You can hire somebody that knows way more than you about AI agents and creating workflows and stuff for you. This isn't just, let me pass off the lowest common denominator task. You can actually hire better expertise than what you can currently do for yourself, right?
Absolutely. And to go back to your previous point is, about, you don't want to hire the same person as you, right? It's very important that they understand your belief system and your provocative point of view, and they agree with that. Now, they may like other things, or, you know, may not do things the way that you do it. And in all actuality, you know, one of the things I look for is, do you have the strength to disagree with me? Yeah. Right. And if you have the strength to disagree, and it could be, and quite honestly, you know, we talk to a lot of assistants. Every assistant that gets hired, I actually talk to. I speak with them in person, because I want them to know who I am. And I see a lot of times they're like, oh my gosh, CEO Jaime Jay, you know, and I'm like, no, dude, please don't. Like, I just get on their level or up to their level or whatever it is, because I want them to know that, hey, I'm right here with you. And the reason that we brought you on board is because of the way that you think and the way that you operate. And I think that's very motivational to them. It also, I think, maybe will lift them up a little bit. All of our assistants, when they start their first day, they lead the meeting with their boss. They lead that meeting. We call it the Jedi mind trick. And that and when we match somebody, we look for opposites but alignment, right? So
Yeah, I love that. Different styles, but same values.
absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe they don't talk as much. Maybe they don't like the same music. Maybe they don't laugh at your dad jokes, which I always do dad jokes. And, you know, sometimes I
that
laugh.
may be a deal breaker for me, but
Yeah, yeah, you know, right? So, but it's it's about community. It's about belief. It's about understanding what the vision is, where you want to take this thing, and what's the mission. What's our daily objective to achieve that vision? Um, I don't care how they do it, but get it done and enjoy the process. And if you don't enjoy the process, like, why are you even here? I think one of the greatest questions, and I forget where I learned this, one of the greatest interview questions you can ask is, what do you want to do after you leave Bottleneck? It's super insightful. They may say, oh no, I really love Bottleneck. I want to work at Bottleneck. Yeah, what's your dream? And that does two things for us. Number one, it's going to tell us that, hey, maybe we can create a role that aligns with what they want to do for the long term, or we understand that you're going to be here and you're using Bottleneck as a stepping stone, and in 2 years you're going to be leaving. So we're going to give you as much training as possible during your time here, knowing that you want to ultimately go on to this adventure. We had one girl that worked for us for about 2 years. And I asked, what's your dream? She goes, well, I want to play violin. I want to go to Juilliard. And I'm like, wow, okay.
amazing.
I knew I had a certain amount of time with her. And while she worked here, she was awesome. Well, she didn't go to Juilliard, but she went on to play in the Manila Symphony. And we've kept in touch since she's left 2-3 years ago. And she wrote back, she goes, hey, Jaime, I just want to let you know that the Bottleneck, that Bottleneck is alive and well in my soul. And I said, what are you talking about? She goes, well, we have this thing that we call in Bottleneck called the ripple effect. And what we want to do is share the energy in our backyard, regionally, nationally, and then ultimately globally. Now I can officially say that we have a global impact because she's in the Philippines. And she wanted to say, Jaime, I wanted to let you know the Bottleneck ripple effect is live and well. And I said, what are you talking about? She goes, well, I'm playing violin for the Manila Symphony. And once a month, I got together with all of our players, musicians, and we got together and got like 10 violins donated or purchased or something. And I give free lessons to kids that want to learn how to play violin once a month because they can't afford it. And I thought, man, that is freaking cool. And it's not the fact that we wanted to hire somebody here and have them work for us. It's the fact that we have a global impact on lives, not only our DAs, but also our clients. I can tell you stories on a million stories. I've been doing this 20 years.
Well, yeah, I think the lesson here to me is entrepreneurs need to want to make other rock stars, because I think sometimes people make the mistake of like, we saw this in professional training and development a lot too, right? It's like, well, would you rather not invest in your employees and have them stay, or invest in them and have them grow and leave? You go, well, not investing and keeping a bad employee for the rest of their career is not great for you either, right?
Right.
But I think good, smart leaders see the value in creating other people's like dream careers and having them move on or move up in the organization. Other people that have small mindsets and scarcity mindsets think well, I don't want this person's brand to get too big. I don't want them to get too popular off the back of my company. I don't want their skills to get too big because they're going to leave. It's just a terrible way to be in business. And then you end up worrying about, all kinds of things, not paying people enough. And then we have to worry about they steal from you. Or maybe I just pay them well and I treat them well and I train them well and I give them opportunities. And then they stay because they want to, or they leave because they should, because there's a better opportunity, or I've taught them, all that they can learn here. And stuff, and it's time to move on. So I love that message, especially when we talk about delegating, because I think so many times people have a short-term mindset of not investing in distance assistants the same way they would a full employee, right?
Yep. It also helps with the trust factor, because that's a major factor in hiring. You may have to give somebody a password to your, to your software. You may have to give somebody access to a credit card to purchase something on your behalf. I mean, these are all areas that you don't even realize. Like, before I hired my first assistant, I did my own emails, and I spent about an hour a day on email. And that's low according to the average. The average person spends 2.4 hours a day on email. And I was spending about an hour. Now I spend about 10 or 15 minutes. And if you do the math, that's equivalent to the saving of 1 month in time saved. What are you going to do with that? How much more creativity can you find, right? Then you also got to think about AI. You have a different story. Like, your world is AI, right? Like, that's you. AI. Does AI give you energy? Figuring stuff out in AI and dealing with it and all that?
For the most part, there are times where it doesn't work, that it can be draining. Or for me, I think the interesting part is after it's figured out, it becomes uninteresting.
Okay.
So it's the repetitive stuff of like, stop repeating myself. I want to learn the next thing. I want to try the next hard project to figure out and challenge myself, and not go back and execute the same process 100 times for our clients.
I love that. You legitimately just made my point before I started talking about it. Here's the thing with AI. I think you're going to start seeing CEO AI burnout. And here's the reason why. Not every CEO or founder or C-level executive leader, business leader, started an AI company. There's very few people like you. You have an AI company, right? You belong in the realm of AI. If you started, like, look at Michael Gerber's E-Myth, right?
Yeah.
You're a baker. Now all of a sudden you have to learn AI. Well, now all of a sudden you got to learn payroll. Now all of a sudden you got to do all this crap. You don't want to bake anymore. You throw up your hands. You're like, I'm done. Granted, there's a lot of interesting things going on. It's pretty freaking awesome what's happening with AI. There's some challenging things, right? But it has definitely improved writing and, our delegation IQ blueprint. That's you leveraging enriched data and generative AI. You spend 2 minutes answering 7 questions, you get a 10-page report. That's amazing. It took me freaking 3 months to build that thing with a partner of ours, right? I don't want to go through that again. I started a company to save people time. And here I am working on that stuff for so long that, I was like, man, I love AI, but God, every time I got to spend that much time figuring something freaking out. That's not why I started Bottleneck. I didn't start Bottleneck because of AI, right? Now, there's a lot of people out there that started AI companies. Good for them. That's what gives them energy. Wake up every day doing AI shit and getting it done. But there's way more people that started other companies that were not AI, that AI benefits them. But now they got all excited about it, but you got that little bell curve. We're coming down, and people are starting to be like, man, okay, I need somebody to handle this stuff. I know exactly what I want. I've got a good idea. I want to stay on top of it. I want to get behind the curve. But, man, I don't want to go through this all again. But
you can delegate, the AI building and the AI knowledge base and everything. That's one of the reasons I started this podcast and stuff too. But obviously, if you want to delegate the AI marketing part, that's what Avenue 9's for. But I also just found that, like, AI is so big and marketing is so big that it's got to be a team sport, that no one person now can know everything there is to know about marketing, and no one person can know everything there is to know about AI. I'm going to need help. And I think it makes sense to delegate a lot of the heavy lifting, especially the parts you don't like.
Well, and you said it. You're in the AI game yourself. You said,
yeah,
I want to keep learning new stuff. So what do you need to do? You need to delegate the stuff that you know is working, but you're bored with because you want to consistently learn more. You've done it. Do something as if it's the last time you're ever going to do it. So delegate that stuff that you enjoyed at the time, but maybe don't get the same energy out of it now because you want to explore new opportunities, and have this person, because you've done something for the last time, you've documented, they're doing it just the way that you expect them to do it, right?
Yeah.
That gives you the freedom to explore new opportunities. And that right there is the key that I think most people don't understand. They're too afraid of giving, their trust away. And I say, give it away. If you get burned, what happens?
Right.
Hey, you deal with it. Get over it.
But somebody still has to execute on those ideas and everything else. That's what I think is funny, is you still win and you have the reputation and everything else to go with it. I do want to ask you, though, how you think this plays out. So I got two fun questions for you left here. Number one is, what do you think the future of work is like 5 years from now? Experts are saying there will be the first like $1 billion evaluation for a one-person company here. And whether you count, your distance assistants as a full-time employee or not, I could see with AI and some virtual help, you could easily get to millions of dollars. If not, people are predicting $1 billion here in the next 5 years. But what does work look like? What do you think most companies look like 5 years from now?
I would be remiss if I didn't say something around delegation intelligence. It's a category we created that I talked about, but I see us as the industry standard for delegation intelligence is helping thousands of business owners reclaim their time. I think delegation intelligence is really going to come forward, so much so that I had a consultation last week, and I was the person put in who referred them was Alex Hermosi. If you know Alex Hermosi, I don't know if you know him, but I didn't know him. But apparently he's a big marketer.
He's a big deal. He's made a lot of money on a lot of waves on social media, for sure. Yeah.
He was doing some kind of high ticket conference or something, and people were paying like $6,000 to be part of this conference. And he recommended delegation intelligence and Bottleneck.
Wow.
I have never heard of the guy, but if you Google delegation intelligence, watch, it's all Bottleneck, because we created that category, but the framework is essential. And I really think that in the next 5 years, a lot more people are going to be understanding delegation intelligence, because not only will it make you more money, it's going to save you a ton. And leveraging that framework is pretty much the basics of Business 101, in my opinion.
I love that. Now, if you go super far out, like within our lifetimes, what do you think the world looks like? Which sci-fi movie do you think we end up in, let's say in 2060?
Yeah. I don't know what sci-fi movie we'll be in, but it's most likely going to be very stationary for a person being able to experience everything from a single location. But I see us having changed world delegates, just like the internet redefined communication. We will have redefined how work gets done by building a global culture of proactivity, documentation, empowered support. I think that
how many people what percentage do you think would need to be employed? Do you see it being similar to now? Is there like 90% unemployment, you're only working if you really choose to because everything's provided, or some other version in between?
No, I think people will still be working. I think that will always happen. I think there will always be roles. I just think they will develop into new roles. Before the computer came out, you didn't have computer scientists, right?
Yeah.
Before the internet came out, you didn't have internet marketers. Right?
That's one of my favorite stats. Kids graduating now will have up to 9 jobs estimated in their career. 7 of them have not been invented yet. because
Crazy.
podcaster wasn't a thing when we went to college and
No,
That's
it
amazing.
wasn't. I mean, I got proofs on a 9600 baud rate fax machine in 2005, right? Like I don't have a fax. I don't have a printer right now, right? Like
Yeah.
everything is digital. Will I see in 30 years? I have no freaking idea what's going to happen, but roles will change and new things will be coming out that will need the human touch. Generative AI is here. I don't believe agentic AI is here. People have argued with me about that, but
do you think we'll ever get to AGI or super
I think so. I think at some point down the road that will be here.
I agree with you, by the way. I don't think agentic is here yet.
Yeah, and by the way, what I mean by that, and you know this, but what I mean is generative AI is it begins with a human. Agentic is they just freaking go, right?
Right.
And I think right now we're in the wild, wild west. We will have some kind of checks and balances in the future. I've actually been approached by a global group to form an ethics committee, and it's coming. So there will be rules and regulations, global rules and regulations with regards to AI. But there's going to be there's going to be AI police, right?
Yeah.
They're going to be
and AI defending you from other AI cyber attacks and other things. Yeah,
you're going to get fines. You're going to get fines from the board of AI or whatever.
That'll be fascinating for sure. Well, this was a fun conversation. Before I let you go, how can you help us, or how can we help you?
How can I help you? What can I do for you? I'd love to be able to support you. So you let me know what we'll do. I'll share it on social. I'll do whatever we can.
We're going to talk afterwards for sure. But I think the first thing people need to do is go to bottleneck.online and find the delegation IQ blueprint.
Yeah.
So that you can just answer 7 questions, get an idea of some of the stuff that you can do and what Bottleneck can do, right?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it gives you a really good roadmap. It kind of gets that stuff that's in your head out. It's a
and the book, Stop Repeating Yourself, or Quit Repeating Yourself.
Quit Repeating Yourself. Yes.
I love that. So good. And learn more about digital intelligence. Go online to bottleneck.online or find Jaime Jay on LinkedIn. A good follow there as well. If you're looking for Avenue 9 marketing stuff, this is what we do just specifically in the marketing area and around context engineering for your marketing. If you're doing a lot of content marketing, thought leadership, you want to be known for something, you're worried about AEO and becoming the answer to AI searches instead of doing SEO. That's what I specialize in here. I can help you as a fractional marketing assistant, a delegated content arm, or just a production company. If you want to get
I have a question. You said AEO?
Yeah, answer engine optimization.
What is GEO? Generative.
GEO is generative engine optimization. There's also LLMO, which I think just reminds me of the alphabet. But people, I think geo-targeting already exists in marketing, so I don't like the word GEO. And LLM, I think limits only to that. But it's fascinating that like over 40% of all searches end in 0 clicks now, because people just get the answer to what they searched for and they don't click through to a website to read the answer or to visit a business or anything. Some industries that's up to 85%. So what we need to do is treat AI like a word of mouth referral partner and build trust with it and a reputation and get our brand story so that they know that Bottleneck is known for digital assistants and for the delegation intelligence. And then when somebody asks about that, you get recommended and you're the only one, versus like 10 blue links that an algorithm found that you just go and you got to click and still continue to find the answers and stuff. It's a major shift. It all happened this year. It's over 50%.
We've heard, and I don't know what the heck I did, but we've heard that people said I was in ChatGPT and it recommended to talk to you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how's that happen?
How do I so I've been doing a deep dive on that for like the last 6 months or so, and really found out some cool things. But the good news is they're all human first tactics. It's reputation building, brand management, and then working with other strategic partners and publishers to get
Have
your
you
story
done a
out.
podcast episode on that?
Yeah. But I got some more good
that
stuff coming on this one shortly. So I'm excited about it. I also want to talk to you about how do I get some assistants to help me do this, because I have a feeling this offer, I don't know if it's going to continue, but I got 2 unsolicited leads this morning before we started taping for this. And it's a brand new offer this week. I just published the page 2 days ago.
Holy cow.
So I'm excited to see where this goes. And if I get a bunch, I might need some help. So
love it.
We'll wrap this up. We'll talk offline. Everybody
All right.
else, go check out Jaime and his website, or go to avenue9.com and keep going. We'll have fun with it. Talk to you later.